how are y'all doing? My name is Andy Jean, Queen Jean on Insta. I am a costume designer and storyteller here living in Brooklyn, New York.
Hi, everybody. My name is Ameirah Neal at The Vain Beauty on Instagram. I am a freelance visual artist here in the Washington, D.C. area.
Oh my God, sister, you are beautiful. I just want to hold space for you and say you are beautiful.
Thank you, sister. I appreciate that. And so are you. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
It is just so happy. I feel like we get to hold space today.
Yes.
We get to hold space today for joy,
yeah,
for unity,
yeah,
and really for Black trans power.
Exactly.
That is something that I've been really craving this week, just in terms of my soul being nourished, because as you know, right, literally this week, 2 of our own sisters were taken away.
Yeah.
And literally amidst what is happening in this world, not only with the national epidemic, right, with this coronavirus, but also literally with violence against our Black brothers and sisters in this very country. Yeah. So how do you feel about that?
I'm very, very, very just I'm in a place that is not very good. I know that's not a lot of language, but I'm just not in a really good space because, I see what's happening in the world in regard to the Black community. And I am Black before I'm trans, right? But it feels like, for me, being a Black trans woman, that my Black brothers and sisters, especially my Black cis brothers and sisters, they don't hear that. They don't see that. It's kind of disheartening because it's almost like I'm invisible, and not even just me, my fellow trans brothers and sisters as well. African-American trans women and men are murdered at the highest rate. We have the highest death rate, where our life expectancy is 35 years old. There's no fucking reason why our life expectancy should be 35 years old. And the part that really, really, really kills me the most is that Black trans women are dying at the hands of Black men, and the Black community does not want to address it. So as a Black trans woman, it's almost like, for me, my back is up against the wall.
Wow. Ooh, baby, you don't.
I know that was a lot. And I didn't mean to dive in. I didn't mean to dive in so deep.
Girl, come on.
But I just had to get it out. I mean, I don't understand. I for the life of me, my experience, where we are in the world, I'm trying to choose my words wisely. My experiences in my transition have the most hatred that I have gotten. It hasn't been from the Latino community. It hasn't been from the white community. It hasn't been from the Asian community. It's been from my own community. And, I see, the Black Lives Matter movement and everything that's going on, and it's powerful. Don't get me wrong. I am not knocking it at all, but it's just like, where do trans lives fit? Where do Black trans lives fit in at? That's where I'm trying to figure out, because what happened to Dominique Fells, I believe that's her last name, Fells, that shouldn't have happened. That shouldn't have happened.
No. And
the part that really bothers me the most is that when Black trans women are murdered, do you know how many of the murder cases just go unsolved?
Because they don't care. I mean, look, and the thing is, I'm not here to issue Black people, white people citations. That is not my job, right?
Exactly. But we have to do better as a community. We have to do better as a community. And we need to start holding ourselves more accountable. What happened to Ameirah Dior in Minnesota was unexcusable. That was unfucking called for. I don't give a damn how many parked cars she hit. It did not require 30 men and 30 women to jump and beat that little girl the way that they beat her. That was fucking ludicrous. That we have to do better. We have to do better.
And you know, sister, to echo off of what you're saying, last night I actually was just in a place of like reflection and deep meditation. And I was like, okay, so from, I mean, and this is not to be triggering, but like for me, I know growing up, right, I started my little sister, this little brown boy, a little heavy set brown boy. I felt like we were instructed, right? Like I was instructed, you protect your sister, right? If anybody steps up to her, you make
protect her. That's how it was with me. Yeah.
Sister. No one will ever disrespect her. They ain't gonna call her no bitch, no bald-headed bitch, like none of that, right? So I feel like, to me, where in terms of like adulthood, right, or just in terms of maturation, right, for our Black brothers, like where does that shift, right, where we are not protecting our trans sisters like they are our own sisters?
Exactly.
And for me, I also just felt like the way that they handled her was egregious. It was.
And you know something else, Queen? I don't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry. But the store, they didn't even want to let her in to the store. They didn't even want her in the store. She was running for her fucking life. And the store owners, they didn't even want her in the store. If you watch the video, they were trying to tell her to leave the store.
And leave and go with.
Like, what? Like, you have that much hatred for a person that you see this person getting beat the fuck up by 30 motherfuckers, grown ass men. And we all see how small a frame this little girl is. We see that.
You know, but here's the thing. To me, girl, I'm a big, you already know, I'm a big lady, honey. And for me, I don't care if I'm small, white, black, short, whatever, light skin, both skin, like dark skin, middle of the road brown. To me, there is no justifying the reaction. There's no justifying that level of abuse. No one should ever have to put their hands on anyone, right? If there was a disagreement as adults, hopefully
handle it as adults.
We could handle it as adults. But to me, it was just like that. The mentality shifted, right, to like this really savage like behavior. And to me, I'm just like, if no one in this mob, right, was like, hey y'all, this ain't even right? Like, how are we men beating up on a woman? And I'm like, wait a minute. So is this what we do now, bruh?
The problem is, let me stop you right there, sis. Problem in the African American community, they don't see trans women for women. That's the problem. That's the issue. And let me educate you let me educate you non-factor motherfuckers for some shit right now. Hormone therapy is real. Hormone therapy, when you are on your hormones, especially for a long point of time, and you start taking that spirolactone and it start breaking down your muscle mass, you're not built to be going out here fighting no whole grown ass man. Hormone therapy is something that is a part of your transition. So non-educated motherfuckers that like to comment so much, and excuse my language, that like to comment so much on how transgender women are men and blah, 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 blah. You don't know shit. No. You fucking know nothing.
But you know what, sister? This is a conversation that, I mean, to be honest, I feel like I'm fatigued with having this conversation. But baby, I'm not tired yet. And what I mean by that is how closed-minded, right? How ignorant, right? For us to try to say, well, because of genitalia, this is not then going to deem what like this is now how I classify somebody. First off, we never see genitalia, right? No, like none of us are walking naked out here
with our genitalia out. Exactly.
So literally, I just feel like literally, to me, it's insensitive and it's demoralizing, right? If someone presents themselves to the world, right, it's very clear that she is a woman and she's a beautiful young woman. Exactly. And for y'all to attack a young lady is inexcusable and it's unacceptable. Unacceptable. And for me personally, I just feel like...
But in the wake of everything that's going on in the world, I mean, and
a fucking Kmart. Just literally days before, y'all blowing up Kmart, we are fucking up the system. And yet a real sister who's right here fighting and windmilling for y'all gonna beat her the hell down. Girl, I think we hot. It's insensitive.
It's very insensitive.
I mean, I really feel like, I didn't mean to cut you off. I feel like I cut you off.
No, sister, you're fine. You're fine.
I really, and this is something that is like so personal. I feel like I have 5 brothers, and baby, they range from 40 to 21 now. And I'm always just like, are my brothers, right, the kind of men who would maybe see a trans brother, a trans sister out in the world, maybe potentially being subjected to violence, would they be men and stand in? Would they be men and stand up and fight back? And that is something, I'll be very honest with you, as much like education we try to, I mean, as much as we speak, I don't know if they would. And that scares me. Because that girl could be me. That girl could be a sister Ameirah.
Yeah.
That girl was Iana.
Yeah.
Like, so for me, I really and truly feel like, what are we going to do? And I don't think that it's always on us to try to like navigate and really build up opportunities to have these conversations. Yes, we can have these conversations, but yeah, y'all have to meet us halfway.
Right. We as a community, like I said, we got to do better. We can't keep, my thing is, we can't keep blaming the white man and then basically doing the same systematic shit to our own people that the white man is doing to us. You understand what I'm saying? That is what they want us to do. They want us, we are already a siloed. So now we're just creating silos within silos. So basically it's easier for the white supremacy to infiltrate because we are already divided.
Yes, and you know, okay, brother, Billy Porter, I believe, just did a really beautiful letter, or just like a call to action, and he was really talking about like the colonial mindset, right, of our Black brothers and sisters, and like and thus I think kind of really kind of alluding to like the generational trauma. But part of me also thinks that like, how can we want, right? And I'm speaking on my behalf. I feel like we all want to achieve, right, a form of Black excellence, right? We want to take pride in culture in that, like, literally, we are Black, we're beautiful, we're unstoppable, we are unmatchable. And I just feel like that same energy is not championed for our brown and Black trans brothers and sisters. Okay. And to me, I think that is a huge problem.
Because we're looked at less than. We are the secrets. We are the fetishes. We are the fantasies. We are the OnlyFans girls. And I'm not, listen.
Oh my God.
I'm not shaming none of the girls out here who are doing their thing on OnlyFans. You make your money the way that you need to make your money. And ain't nobody on this earth can judge you. But what I'm saying is, we're more than just these fucking statistics. I am more than your fantasy. I am more than your fetish. I am more worthy than them.
Absolutely. Girl, you are valuable. You're valuable. You're magic. And I think for me...
It ain't no... Baby, this pussy priceless.
Honey!
It ain't no price tag, honey. You can't...
Good pussy. Okay? Literally, we just came from a rally this afternoon. They said, honey, if y'all could smell me, y'all would smell good pussy. And I really feel like folks are so intimidated by that. Right? I mean, I feel like these men hold a really severe sense of self-hatred, which I don't understand, because I really feel like Black women continually uplift, right? Continually give our brothers love. And so I just don't know how we can literally move forward if this is the way if this is the mindset that we're trying to hold on to.
So yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Continue.
Wait,
I'm sorry, but I do have a question.
Yes. So I was, yeah.
Go ahead. No, go ahead. Continue. I'm sorry.
I really want when we are having discussions about the future, it is imperative that trans and Black and brown brothers and sisters are first. We can no longer tolerate us literally coming in last, being sidelined, always being the last group, because literally what the issue is you don't consider us an equal, like you said, right? You don't consider us valuable, and we are. And we literally are magic, and we literally are the foundation of
the do you know? So, okay. So let me give you a quick history. Sylvia Rivera, right?
Marsha P.
And Marsha P. A lot of people don't know that Sylvia Rivera actually helped the Black Panther movement feed children. When the Black Panther Party movement was up and running in the 70s, Sylvia Rivera actually helped them feed the children. She was helping them with a lot of their fundraising. She was helping them with a lot of their protests. Yeah, a trans woman was helping the Black Panther movement, and no one talks about that. It's almost as if it was erased from the history books.
I feel like, yeah, I'm sorry, baby.
No, and for me, it bothers me because trans people, we have been here. This is not just something that just came out of the sky and, oh my God, where did these transgendered individuals come from? No, we have been here from the dawn of time. If you go into the Bible, not New Testament, the Old Testament, they refer to us as eunuchs. Transgender people, we have been around for the dawn of times. We served with kings and queens. We were some of the spiritual roots, some of the spiritual leaders and the Indian, the Native American
well, I mean, you know, sometimes like there are
referred to us as two-spirited beings.
That's right.
You know, we've been here. And to be quite frank, we're not fucking going anywhere.
We're not going anywhere, and literally, we can no longer be last. We can no longer be, oh, that's right, them. No. Front and forward. Because I really feel like we have got to set a new precedence for how we move forward. When we come out of this Rona Rita, okay, COVID, whatever it is, when we come out of Heineken Rita, literally, we cannot go back to the old way. To me, the old way is simply old. And we really need to figure out how we're going to align ourselves, how we're going to put our steps in order to achieve these new, not only like philosophies, but also like new ways that we can approach more equality. Because I feel like a lot of times, you know, like I have like family members and like friends like, oh yeah, Black trans lives matter. And I'm like, okay, but like,
is that the difference between saying it? Anyone can say it. You can say it, but do you really fucking mean it?
I mean, and to me, it's not something that is like a theory. No, we need to have this in practice, right? So literally in churches, in schools, like we need to see Black and brown trans people in positions of leadership. Like literally, I just feel like we, our narrative, and I know that you feel like this.
We need to rewrite the narrative, yeah.
Sometimes is like exists and really only lives in ballroom or in sex work, or like literally fetishization. And it's actually, wait a minute. Baby, not only have we been here since day one, but we literally are like the source of everything, source of culture.
Yes.
So
it's no shade. When you say the source of culture, that really resonated with me. There's so many trends that I see in the world now that stemmed from transgendered women. There's so many trends. There are so many trends that I see in the world that stemmed from the backs of transgendered women, particularly Black transgendered women. And it's almost like you want to erase us, but yet you are so influenced by our culture.
Well, they consume, maybe here's something that is so radical to me, right? Trans women have always been consumed, right? They consumed our brain, our mouths, right? Our entire bodies. Men consume them, honey, in the darkest of the nights. But literally, they go back to their day. They go back to their lives during the day. And so for me, I just feel like, how are we literally something that is so digestible, right? But then you don't vouch for us. Right. You don't honor us.
So let's talk about that. That's something that I want to talk about. Why do you think it's so hard for Black men to just be able to love and be with a transgender woman? Why do you think that's so hard, sis? I mean, I kind of already have my answer, but I want to hear what you think. Why do you think society kind of shuns Black men from dating Black trans women? Why do you think that is?
I personally, for me, I feel like it's very straightforward, because of fear, because of stigma, and also because no one wants to be weak. No one wants to be soft. No one wants to be considered less than, right? As Black people, we're already low on the totem pole. But as a Black trans woman, bitch, you are underneath the root and the soil of that pole. So no one wants to be associated with that, right? I can get my dick sucked. Oh, wait a minute. Okay. Right? Like, a dude can be like, look, I'm just getting here, bro. But literally, it's like you don't realize what that's doing to the person, right? You are demoralizing them, right? Yeah. As if they are not worthy of love, as if they're not worthy of intimacy, as if they're not worthy even of time and space in this world. So that, to me, I think is really like the root. I think why we often see that our sisters are subjected to the trauma.
You know,
right?
I believe, I'm going to piggyback on what you're saying. I think that society holds Black men to an unrealistic standard.
Okay.
Follow me. White men are allowed to explore. They are allowed to feel. They are allowed to express. If a Black man does that, he's considered to be weak.
Okay, you know what's okay? Hold on. Okay, so
he's considered to be weak or less than or not a man. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yes. This is so funny. I've recently had conversations with my sister, and also just like from a lot of my beautiful brown sisters who like from college and like and folks that I work with, mostly in theater, and we be kikiing and cutting up backstage and whatnot. But we often so this conversation came up a couple weeks ago about in our quarantine chat about how socially it's acceptable and even worthy of praise, right? If a woman has been with another woman, right? There is excitement. There's a nuance, there's a pastiche, really, to, oh, wow, so she's open, right? She's fluid. But if a brother would have said, oh, yeah, I've been with a man before. I mean, and this is not to be like cynical or crazy, but I honestly feel like 8 out of 10 women, like there's a, like, oh, wow. And immediately it's, well, you're gay. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. Now, how can we literally honor, right, and literally praise a woman for being fluid or for being open, right, to being with someone of the same gender, but literally we don't have that same space and candor for a man.
It's almost like we condemn the Black man for everything he does. That's what I kind of feel like.
Okay. No, I mean, I definitely see that. I just feel like and the reason why I said that, I know that that's a strong statement, but it's like
it's like they can't, they can't win. They damned if they do and they damned if they don't. If they show too much emotion, then they're weak. If they don't show enough emotion, then they have no feelings. You get what I'm saying? And for me, I love black men. Let me make sure I say that first and foremost.
Both say that, girl.
Hold on. This is not an attack on black men at all. I love y'all. Y'all give me so much joy and bring me so much joy. You are beautiful, beautiful, my beautiful black men. But I just think that it's unfair that we don't give them the same, the same type of freedom that we allow other men to just be. That we don't give the black man the power to just be. And that bothers me.
I have a radical question. Do you think that's why we see that there's more acceptance in interracial relationships? Shout out to interracial.
Shout out to the interracial relationships. That's a good question. I can't answer that question because me personally, I love black love. I'm not downing anyone, but my preference, I love black love. I don't know. That's a good question.
I mean, yeah, and I think for me the question.
That's a good question.
I think for me to, I guess I'm trying to really get to, or just ask myself is like, is it more socially acceptable that you can be your full self sometimes, in spaces or in relationships with a white or Latino or with someone else who's outside of your race, who maybe doesn't have the same experiences that you do, or maybe they're not going to be as maybe that they'll be more open and receiving you in your full self. I mean, this is something that I think is like trade vocab 101, right? That like you can be with a dude, right? But like, oh, we can't kiss. We can't hold hands. Like if we're just two dudes who do what dudes do. And this is like something that I've like been exposed to, but I'm just like, this has got to end. Because I don't understand why there isn't, and we know brothers who do affirm each other, right? And they're able to hold each other's hands. They're able to hold space for each other. And I feel like sometimes you feel like that is direct result.
That same space often isn't held for trans women, though. And I didn't mean to cut you off, but that same space that you just mentioned is often not held for trans women. But go ahead, sis.
And so for me, I feel I just feel like, is it? Yes, I understand that our Black brothers definitely have to experience, things that like maybe even our Black women don't, like our sisters don't really have to experience. But I just don't know if that's necessarily, like, I don't know if that's going to be justifiable, right, for perpetuating the trauma, for perpetuating the abuse. Like, I just don't know it. Like, if I can just be okay with, well, I know that he's dealing with a lot. So like he can't always give me his full self, if that makes sense. So I for me, I just feel like it's something that I constantly observe, and I wonder sometimes if we could be more open and accepting, right? And not tolerating, but we need to actually accept and to love fully that like we have folks in our community of all walks of life, of all colors, all hues, who love everybody. And like, I really feel like that to me is something that I would love for there to be more of, and just across the board. And and like for me, I mean, I live in New York City, so I feel like I definitely see like a spectrum, right, of Black love, Black trans love, Black queer love, and like interracial love. But I know like in other parts of the country, in most other parts of the country, that is not something that is like so like permanently seen, right? Like I don't be seeing, two brothers in Walmart, being their full selves. Maybe at Foot Locker, right? But not in the same capacity. So yeah. You smiling over there? Yes, gorgeous smile.
I mean,
what's on your mind, baby?
I just have a lot of feelings. I do.
Well, let's talk about it.
I'm not quite sure how to put them in words.
Okay.
And I don't want to offend anyone. So let me sit on it.
Okay, yes.
Let me sit on it.
Kitchen table talk later. Oh my gosh. But I think something that has come up, I think for me, right, is like a lot of folks expressing solidarity. And I think it's great. I think we need more of it. But I think for me, I also just want to challenge those same folks and say, solidarity is very important. However, right. I'm really interested in like a subscription. I'm not really here for a one-time membership. For me, we need full-time, everyday, daily commitment, right? If you are an ally, if you are an advocate, if you are fighting for us, for Black trans power, for Black trans women, for Black trans men, right? For us and our brown and Latino communities, like if we are really fighting for us to be loved and to be our full selves in the world, like I just think that like it just can't be a one-time thing. And like you have to challenge yourself sometimes. You have to be able to be uncomfortable and literally push through that uncomfortability. Boop, 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 push through it, because literally the girls have been pushing through each day since the beginning of time. Right? You don't have any hesitancy when you wake up, you put your, like literally you put yourself on, you put on your shield, your armor, and you walk right out that door. Whether or not you bodega, whether or not you're going to the courthouse, whether or not you're going to UPS to send something off, it's like that is innately you each and every day. So if you're advocating for that, I need that same fire. I need that same intensity, because you can't.
And I need it, and also I need it 365. I don't just need it when there's something going on, when there's a murder, I need it 365, 7 days of the week. I don't need it on and off. I need it all the time. It has to be a continuous rotation.
And
understand
I think
what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely. And then I think, sister, like it has to be there. That level of solidarity, that solidarity needs to be there when we're not there. Right?
Exactly.
We're not in those rooms when we're like when you're in the white spaces, when you're at home with your aunts, and your uncles, right? And sometimes, well, they're just stuck in their ways, or they come from a different generation. Like when you're there and they say something that's out of line, you have to check them, right? And it might even mean, which is so funny, I feel like in a rally somebody was saying, that might, that may mean, right, that like you're not invited to Thanksgiving next year. But that's fine. Like, be able to challenge them, be able to say, hey, that is unacceptable. That is not, like, I do not allow, right, for you to relate or to call people that way in front of my presence. Absolutely not. We have to speak up and we have to fight, because I think for too long we've been complicit. For too long we've all been silent, right?
And not only that, sister. And not only that, it's also time for our cis brothers and sisters, our Black cis brothers and sisters. It's also time for you guys to start speaking up for us as well, because you can't continue to expect us as the trans community to show up, and we're showing up, we're showing up, but it's kind of unfair that we are always showing up, and when it's time for people to show up for us, there's no one there.
Honey, Tony McDade in Florida, and look, I'm from.
And no one is really talking about that. No one is really talking about that, and especially with the trans community, especially with the Black community. I'm not really hearing a lot of friction about
I mean, literally, it's like, it just goes on and on and on. Remy Fells, I mean, it's just like, how can we...
Maisha Brooker.
I mean, it's like, I really just feel like, how can we...
Zoe Spears was killed here in DC. You know,
literally, Malaysia Booker, girl, okay? After, which is so crazy to me that, like, we are seeing these things sensationalized and literally recorded time and time again, right? Like,
so let's talk. So, sister, so that's interesting. I wanna, and I hate to keep cutting you off, and I'm terrible at doing this. Let's talk about the trans. I want to talk about the the trans community in the police. Let's talk about that for a minute. What do you feel about that? Because I've honestly, I don't care for police officers. I never have. No, honestly, I've never cared for police officers. Being a Black trans woman, I have been treated horribly by police officers, and particularly Black men police officers. I remember I was actually coming from DC at this particular point in time. I was living in Annapolis, Maryland with one of my aunts. And I was going to New Carrollton Station, which is in Maryland. And I was going from New Carrollton to come into DC. So I actually missed the train. So I go to the bus stop, right? I'm on my cell phone, you know, I'm like, oh my God, I'm talking to someone. And I'm just like,
Kelly Clarkson, Eddie Murphy.
I'm upset, you know. I missed my train.
Because now we can't train.
Exactly. And I'm walking back and forth like I'm pacing. Like when I'm upset, I pace. Do you know that this Black cop pulls up to me? And do you know what he tells me, sis? He says, you can't work here. Mic drop. And I was like, dude, this is a fucking, are you fucking serious? This is a fucking train station, my nigga. I am at the fucking bus stop. You really think I am fucking tricking because you see me pacing at the fucking bus stop? You really think I'm fucking out here tricking? Are you serious? So ever since then, listen, I know that all cops are not bad. I know that there are some cops out here who really, really believe in their job and really want to serve the community and serve their population. I understand that.
It's their duties.
And I get that. But from my personal experiences, I just cringe. I cringe. Let's talk about that for a moment.
I mean, I think like it's so crazy because in undergrad, I had a very Tu Wong Fu moment, right? We had just came from a little club, girl, and it was like Sunday.
That's Tu Wong Fu?
Baby. Okay, so literally, and so you know, so it's a Sunday night kiki situation, party, and so my friend who drove me there, because he had a car, so he, you know, maybe he was, you know, feeling himself the whole night, and halfway through I was like, I think I should drive us home, and then maybe you know, once I drop you off, like, you know, we can get you your car in the morning, or I can drive back to your place. And he was like, whoop, got it. And you know, being from Florida, I was driving. And so you know, it's like, I think 3 or something like that. Like, you know, like during the little let out, everyone's like trying to figure out where they want to go. They're trying to go to cookout and get their little, you know, yum-yums, or, you know, just like chill. But I was like, it's time to go to bed, and I gotta go to work in the morning. And so literally we get in, seatbelt, all this stuff. And so we drive to get onto the highway. And baby, literally, it wasn't even like 2 minutes. And so I'm pulled over, and I'm like, no. I mean, full geesh, lashes, boot, like just full situation. And I was like, okay. And so literally in my mind, I freak out because I'm like, how is this gonna go?
Yeah.
And so I literally just like tried to, adopt, the colloquialism. Yes, sir. Hi, sir. How are you, sir? What's the problem? Good evening, sir. All of that. He didn't care about none of that, right? Literally tells us to get out the car, take a breathalyzer. And I was like, sir, I don't understand. Why are we being pulled? And literally, and he's like, what did you say? And I was like, and so we are literally trying to comply with everything. And so I take a test, all this stuff. Girl, hands me walk. Okay, and literally I'm in heels, and girl, we done been, so literally I was just like, okay, well, I'm not gonna pass this test, sir. How do you want me to walk straight, and literally my toes are like at the feet of these, little moments. So anyway,
giving this
toes were in, baby. And so literally I'm walking and I'm trying to I was like, sir, clearly I'm not, I haven't been drinking. I was still under 21. I was like, sir, I haven't been drinking. Literally my friend, and this is his car. I just wanted to take us home. Be the designated driver. I apologize if we were speeding. Literally had not even told us why we were being pulled over. Baby, he was like, well, the license plates are expired. I said, what? And he starts to get a little bit more short and a little bit more brash. And so I was like, you know what? I literally had to say, if I try to fight, it's not going to go down well. And at this point, two other cop cars pulled up, and I was like, sir, literally, I don't want any trouble. I just want to get home safe tonight. Do whatever you need to do. We just want to get home safe. And he's like, we're going to have to tow the car. I said, baby, tow the car. Tow the car. And I was so scared because literally, I was so paranoid to reach in the back seat to get my cell phone. Because I was like, and his energy was just so dark and so mean.
Was he a white cop or a black cop?
This girl.
White cop.
Okay. Yes. And
yeah.
And so literally, I was just like, look, I'm not even I really don't even I was scared. Truly. Because I was like, this is literally things that we hear, but to actually be in that situation, I was terrified. And I literally was just like, I can't even call because I was so terrified that if I reach for his phone, what is he going to do?
Yeah. I think that I know here in DC, Mayor Muriel Bowser has the LGBTQ liaison unit.
Mm-hmm.
I believe the members of this unit, I believe all of them identify as LGBTQ. I know that we do have a trans woman on the force here in DC, so that's amazing. I actually met her a couple times. I still just don't get down with police.
Absolutely, yeah.
No matter how nice, I just
no. Because and truly, how can you feel safe, right?
Yeah.
While walking while being black and trans will get you arrested.
Yeah. I cannot there are certain places in DC that if I was to go and walk, and let's just say that I have a condom in my purse, I could get arrested. I could get a solicitation charge. Yeah, I could get arrested because I have a condom in my purse and I'm walking to the grocery store or to the library or for just going for a fucking walk.
No. And then they're trying to put you in a male situation. Girl.
Listen.
It's literally the abuse just doesn't stop. It doesn't like on all facets of the thing. It's unfair.
So let's on a lighter note. What joy? Let's talk about joy.
Yes.
What does black trans joy look like to you?
Oh my gosh.
No, and I'm asking you all the questions. What does black trans joy? Well, I'll go first.
Okay, wait a minute. You. Sister Ameirah, hey, baby.
Hey, baby.
What does Black trans joy look like for you?
Just unapologetically like yourself. Just unapologetically walking in your truth, walking in your womanhood, just owning yourself, just walking in your knowing, in your being. I have this thing that I follow, the divine feminine, which really resonates with me. I'm not gonna get too deep on it, but
wait a minute, come on.
No, I'm not going to get too deep on it because it's a spiritual. I'm on a spiritual journey right now. But the divine feminine is something that really resonates with me. And for trans women, I just see us as these beings, these beautiful beings, because we embody something that is so complex, right? That people can't even understand. That's how complex we are. That's how beautiful we are, that we are so beautiful that they can't even understand it. Remember, when in the Bible, when God described the angels were so beautiful that they were androgynous. They people couldn't tell if they were man or woman.
Yeah. Oh, man, look,
what about you, sis? What does Black trans joy look like to you, sis?
For me, Black trans joy looks like me. Looks like you.
Yes.
Right? Black trans joy to me isn't necessarily about sexy appeal. It's not about I mean, you know, that joy can be all hues. That joy have all levels, right, of self-appointed care.
Yeah.
That, to me, Black trans joy is about intimacy.
Yeah. Not just intimacy, but intimacy with yourself. Now, and I'm not being perverted when I say that. I'm just saying, just being like, no, seriously, sister, just being at a wholeness with oneself. That's beautiful. That's something that no one can take away from you, no matter how hard they try.
And honestly, what I love about that is also, it's like, to me, Black trans joy is not about getting validation from other people. I am valid. I am enough. Right? I am my full best self. And to me, that's also being Black. It's being undeniably Black. It's
undeniably.
Okay. And so for me, I really truly feel like that is what my Black trans joy feels like. And it's not about trying to embody a mold. It's not about trying to embody another ideal situation, right, of what is even passable.
Exactly. You know what? Can we talk about this whole passability shit for a minute? Because no, I get it. I get it, and I understand why it could be important. But can we also talk about for the girls who, I just don't think that it's fair. I don't think that I don't think the game that is played with passability is fair. Because a transition is a transition. Shit is not going to happen overnight. You know, my mother always told me when I started my transition, luckily, my mother was very supportive. She was very supportive, but she didn't understand in the beginning. But she always told me, she said, Ameirah, you know what? I remember I was dating this guy. I was talking to this guy. And I had just started my transition. So, girl, I had came home from college one day. Well, one week I came home from college. I was supposed to see this guy. The guy was coming from Baltimore.
Okay.
So we linked up, and I come outside, bitch, I'm all done up. You know, I ain't have everything that's going on now. I have everything that's going on now. And when I get in the car, he tells me to get out of the car because I'm not passable enough. So I immediately go in the house. I'm crying. And my mother, like, she's like, I will never forget this moment. God rest my mother's soul. She was like, what's wrong with you? Like, what's going on with you? And I said, Ma, you know, he told me that I still look like this. He told me that I look like this and I wasn't beautiful enough. You know what my mother told me?
What she said, baby?
She said, people always make fun of the caterpillar, but they bask in the glory of the butterfly.
Oh.
She
Can you say that one more time?
Listen, people always, I'm gonna say it again for those in the back. People always make fun of the caterpillar, but they bask in the glory of the butterfly. This is a transition. This is not something that you gonna wake up one night and be a Caitlyn Jenner and be like, oh my God, I'm here. It don't work like that. And it's no shade to her, but for a Black trans woman, we don't have the funds to go out here and to get access to hormone therapy, to go out here and get all these surgeries and to get this body working, to get that body working, to get these bags. We don't have the type of funds and access linkage to care to do that fucking shit. And it's no shade. I'm not taking away from my white trans sisters and brothers, but the white trans experience is not the same as the Black trans experience. And I want to make sure that is very clear.
Most definitely.
It's not the same. It's not the same.
I mean, look, the reality is a white trans person is still what? White. It's still what? Privilege.
White.
Okay? Oh, yes. So I mean, and that, again, is just something that's reality, right? So it's not to say that we don't love and we don't...
Exactly. No, of course not. I love everybody. So I want to make sure that I'm clear on that, but I also want to make sure that I'm clear on the facts.
Yeah. That, I mean, it's so disproportionate. And, you know, it's so I love that. Shout out to moms, y'all.
I know. I miss my mother. I miss my mother so much. Like, I was so blessed because I started transitioning when I was 19 years old, right? My first year in college, I went to the Art Institute of York, Pennsylvania. And it was just, I ran track in high school. So I had a lot of muscle mass on me. So it was completely different at 19 versus 31. So,
girl, 30 young.
And 30, ow, thank you. So just to have my mother, you know, send me money for hormones. I remember I was self-medicating and I was getting my hormones from this online pharmacy shipped to my dorm. And wow. I would like, Mom, I need money for hormones. Like, I remember when I came home from college and my breasts were actually developing and I'm walking around the house, my titties just bouncing. She like, you can't walk around my house like that. We need to go get you a bra. Yes! So we went to Victoria's Secret and she got me my first bra. So those things, like, for me, and to go back to a part of my trans joy, what Black trans joy looked like for me, that was a part of it. Just having that type of support from my mother, from the woman who gave birth to me, you know, like that really, don't get me wrong. She got a lot of shit wrong in the beginning stages.
That's all right.
But that's all right. But in the ending of the stage, you know, not in the ending, but in the transition, she kind of started to come to a little bit. And she was there for me in ways that was just so beautiful and so amazing. I remember my mother was battling breast cancer. And unfortunately, she had to have a mastectomy. And I was like, oh, Ma, don't worry. We're going to go get our breasts done together. And she was like, you know what? Yeah, we're going to go get our breasts done together, you know, and that was our thing. We was going to try to go get our breasts done together.
But you know what, honestly, what I love Thank you for sharing that, because that definitely feels like a testimony to love
her so
and
much.
the power of. I think sometimes our parents, they just don't know.
They don't.
You know, and if they, and I just wish that we could be honest, right? And say, look, I don't know what's going on, but literally, I love you.
Right.
And let's try to get that together.
Right.
Because I won't have all the answers. I may not know how to help you along your journey, but I'm here with you along that journey.
Right.
I just think that's something that literally I wish my mom would have said. I wish my parents would have like been open. I even wish my siblings would have been like receptive, right? Like, we got you. And it just really felt like, and I know, and I know that that a lot of my other brothers and sisters out here who have to find their own family.
Yeah.
Right? Because unfortunately we do not fit the like the roles or the preconditioned roles, or like we do not fit, right, the benchmark of what a Christian household looks like.
Right.
And us, we're not allowed to be ourselves.
Right.
We're not accepted. We're not received. Like love is not given to us. So as humans, we need that love. And so we find it where we can. And so I think, and some of us are even more grateful, right? Or are blessed enough to even have the opportunity to like create your family and your family. So I think it's just something that I just wish that more parents could just be earnest and open about. Because literally, I think we could stop a lot of our young people feeling like that they don't belong in this world. Because the truth is, they belong. They are beautiful. They have value.
And not only that, but they are our future. They are our future. And if we're not investing in our future, then what are we doing? Then what are we doing? How are we investing in ourselves as the human race if we're not investing in our future?
Well, I think
that is my question.
Yes. Yes. And I think it's like we can't always be, vouching for Black love and Black pride and all these things. But again, there's a division, right? Like only certain us Blacks get to be counted in, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
Right? Part of the glow up senses. No, y'all, like the gays, and y'all confused, like literally, like we aren't even considered. And that's so problematic.
So so I don't know how much time we have, but I wanted to
we're gonna make some time. Honey,
time. Listen. I wanted to how do you feel about, because I kind of feel that there's often I kind of feel that transgender women, Black transgender individuals often take the back seat on the LGBTQ. I kind of feel like we are often pushed to the back of the bus. I know that Dave Chappelle, he made a joke.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah. I think it was a little
joke. But I honestly, I really wasn't offended by it. Because what he said, it kind of held a little weight. The joke that I'm talking about, he made a joke on one of his stand-up shows, and he said that basically what he said, in the LGBTQ community, the gays are in the driver's seat.
I remember.
The lesbians are in the passenger seat, the transgender community is banging on the window trying to get into the car. Now, do I think that it was his place to say? I don't think that it was his place to say it, but do I think he was wrong for making that statement? Me being a Black transgender woman?
Knocking on that goddamn window? Hell yeah! Shit.
So, sis, let's kind of break that down a little bit. Like, how do you, how you feel about it? Because I've had experiences where I know that because I was trans, working in a predominantly gay male atmosphere, I knew because I was trans that my voice wasn't being heard. I could recall working in workspaces where I was the only trans person. And I'm sorry if you guys, if you hear that there's a car driving past, but I remember.
Honey, people here got jobs.
Yeah. I remember I was working at a nonprofit here in DC.
Yeah.
And it was a reputable, great nonprofit. But there were two cis women. One was Black, one was white. They both identified as lesbians. Okay. And for some reason, you can just feel when someone just doesn't really, when you're not a person's cup of tea. Yeah. For some whatever reason. And I remember there was I was on the job for less than 30 days. Okay. And there was a 30-day review that we had to do. Oh, so I had gotten 2 reviews, and the things that they were saying about me, I knew who the reviews came from. But the things that they were saying, even my supervisor was like, this doesn't sound professional. This sounds personal.
HR, where y'all at?
So, like, how do you like feel? Like, how do you?
Yeah, for me, I definitely.
Am I making sense, sis? Am I making sense?
Yes, yes.
Okay, yes. Okay. I just wanted to make sure you was following me. I didn't know if I
was. No, I completely agree, and I echo what you're saying because I feel like. I think just historically, right, the girls have always been, the source of life, the source of party, the source of entertainment, right, the source of a good time. But when it comes down to our hearts, our security, our housing, our food, like literally the things that we need to survive, that advocacy and that awareness is nowhere to be found.
Nowhere. Yeah.
I feel like there is an issue, and that literally with even us being at the bottom of the totem pole, there is hierarchy there, right?
Yeah, there is hierarchy. Yeah.
And literally, we are only called in, right, to entertain, to be jesters, right, to give life.
And that's something else that really bothers me. It's almost like we're not taken seriously. Like we're just there for shits and giggles.
And that is why when our sisters go down, this shit is allowed to happen because no one speaks the fuck up. Because no one fights. Because no one actually, and not that people don't care, but I really feel like we don't have the same conviction, right? We do not have the same, we don't hold the same space for the girls, right? For our trans brothers and sisters. So I really feel like it's not something that that we can ignore anymore. That shit ends today. That shit ended yesterday. Truly ended yesterday. I really feel like we have to hold our own community accountable. And that includes Black, gay, lesbian, includes the Black church.
Oh my God, particularly the Black church. Oh.
We are looking at y'all too, right? Because, honey, the girls also tied.
Can we say it louder for the people in the back?
Okay. The church, we are looking at you as well. Because the girls also tied weekly. So do not expect us, right, to be there, but then you don't see us in return. That love and that praise and the adoration is not reciprocated. Absolutely not. Y'all will come and get into our music. Y'all will come and get into our looks. Y'all will come and get into our food, right?
Come and try to figure out who did our makeup so we could do theirs too. I'm not your accessory. I'm not your fucking handbag. I'm not your motherfucking shoe. I'm not your sunglasses.
We are not tokens, right? That you can pick up when you need.
I'm not your fucking emotional tampon. that you could just take out and stick in when the fuck you want to.
There she go.
I'm sorry, sis. Did I go there? I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go there. I had a flashback.
Loud. No apologies.
I had a flashback. I'm sorry.
No apologies allowed. But I really feel like, again, we have to hold our community accountable. We do. And literally that conversation literally needed to have happened yesterday. And so I really think that it's something that we need to start in our own homes. I will share something that is eye-opening. Anyways, I've always been Queen. So, but like my sister, she got married a couple years ago, and so now she has a family. She has 3 beautiful babies, and literally I have not been in their lives. And part of that, my other siblings were saying, well, her husband's Christian, and so I'm sure he just feels like, he just wants to protect his kids. What? Protect his kids? What? From what? From gayness? From trans? Like, what is he trying to protect them from?
You know what? And that's funny. That's so funny that you bring that up. So I have a cousin. We're blood cousins, but she's almost like we were raised, that's like my sister. It's 3 of them, and they're all like my sisters. But we're blood cousins, but they're my sisters. And we had a conversation the other day, and she was telling me that she had a conversation with her daughter, and she was telling me that her daughter, because her daughter, you know how kids are young, and kids can be mean, and because her daughter would compliment other little girls like, oh my God, like her shoes are cute, oh her hair is pretty. Well, other kids at school were starting to call her gay. And, for my niece, she's not even like 12 years old. So she doesn't have an understanding.
They don't have that concept.
Yeah, she doesn't even have an understanding of what it is. But what touched me the most, that my cousin Samantha, well, I'm not going to say her name, but my cousin, what touched me the most.
Cousin Keisha.
My cousin Keisha. What touched me the most was that the conversation she said that her and her husband had with her, they said, regardless of who you are, who you love, it doesn't matter. We're going to love you regardless. Yeah. And she said the reason why she had that conversation with her daughter was because when I was coming up, when I was younger, like 13, 14, and I was finding myself, my mother wasn't that open to it. I was very feminine. I was a very feminine little boy, and she didn't like that.
You were an angel, honey, from God.
Exactly. And and my cousin saw some of the things that my mom did and put me through. Again, she wasn't perfect, but she, and she said because she saw those things, she didn't want her daughter to feel as though that she wasn't loved, that she wasn't supported. And I was just like, wow, that really moved me. And my cousin, she actually gets on me because she's like, they need to know who their Auntie Ameirah is. Like, you're so fabulous. They need to know who she is. And that feels good that I have family who's like, who wants to have me involved in not only their lives, but in their children's lives.
Most definitely. Yeah, I'm sorry, baby.
That feels really, really good. It really feels amazing. I think we have like 3 minutes left, sis. I think we have like 3 minutes left. Oh no.
I just wanted to, this really makes me think of something that I saw during the quarantine. And I guess like in the earlier part of the quarantine, I think this was actually...
we got 3 minutes.
Okay, I'm gonna close. I'm gonna say quick, but this was a little bit right after Tiger King and before mayhem. But there was a little boy online. I believe he and his little sister were doing a Savage Dance Challenge. and the guardian, who I think was the aunt.
Oh, I remember that video. I saw it. Yeah.
That to me was one of the most hurtful things I've seen in a long time. It was highly triggering. And I was just like, literally, this is where the trauma actually starts.
The trauma starts. Yeah. Yeah.
It's in like that. It's a moment in my own life where I was absolutely beat, right? For acting a certain way. And so I just feel like this is learned behavior. This is the kind of behavior that stunts our beauty, it stunts our growth, and it stunts us from actually being able to be unified and to actually be equal and to be considered an equal. Sister, this has been such a beautiful opportunity to hold space with you.
Listen, I hope that I made sense in what I was saying, because I know that I could be a hothead sometime. I'm a fiery Capricorn, so I'm sorry.
And I'm a red hot Capricorn, a caliente red hat. Hot tamale, baby.
So, but this has been such a pleasure and an honor to hold space with you. Thank you to the Healing Podcast, the Healing Space Podcast, for having us and allowing us to share this space, this time. Raven, thank you so much.
Really?
This was beautiful. Sister, do you have anything else you would like to say?
Honestly, I just think I just want to say thank you to us. Really, I think sometimes we have to hold space for ourselves, and I really want for the fire and the energy that we see out in the world. I want us to hold on to this fire, right? We need to hold on to this momentum, and remember, this is how we need to come together each and every. This is how we need to come together. We're literally in November, right?
Yes.
In a few months,
yes,
back to get real again.
You have to keep the same energy.
Hey, we need to make some changes, and this is what it can possibly look like. So I really pray, and again, thank you to the Healing Space. Like I love you guys so much, and literally, this has actually been a really healing, a really beautiful way to heal on this Sunday.
Yes. Thank you, guys. I hope you enjoyed.
Oh, wait a minute. I was going to say, too, should we say where people can follow us?
Yeah. So you can follow me on Instagram at The Vain Beauty. That's THEVAINBEAUTY.
Yeah, and you can find your girl, Queen Jean, at QWEEN_JEAN. I love y'all so much, and thank you, and continue to tune in to the Healing Space. Bye.